Hello and welcome to Premier League Backpass after a weekend, Miles, in which things have started to happen, especially at the top.
Well, and at the bottom, there's a sort of constriction at both ends, a bit of a squeezing of the gaps, if you pardon the expression.
Let's get straight into it, shall we?
Rewind. So West Bromwich Albion, winless under Pepe Mel, travel to Swansea, desperate for a result. And it doesn't start very well, Alex.
That was a nice ball from Bonnie.
Lamar, 1-0. They really did dominate this first half, Swansea, and it looked as if they were going to rack up a cricket score, so to speak. Great save there from Foster.
Yep.
Another one coming in here. Oh, can he score? Oh, the bouncing bomb goes over the bar. But not long into the second half, West Brom just turned everything around. Stéphane Sessegnon finally finding the back of the net. He's been a bit of
a beautiful goal.
It was. He's underperformed for them, really. I expected a little bit more for him.
And this was a beautiful goal.
You enjoy this, don't you?
I like a placed shot.
Malumbu. But if you look at it again, look at the Swansea defence just backing off of him.
Yeah.
But that is a fantastic
Still very well
goal.
done, though.
Aston Villa at home to Chelsea. Surely a home defeat coming up. Looked like it there, but Matic, given by the referee, but disallowed, very well done by the assistant referee.
Good call, linesman.
William, this is his second booking. He ends up getting sent off, 20 minutes to go in the game. And I don't know about you, Alex, but who's fouling who here?
Wow, you should have seen the Phoenix this weekend. Now that was a travesty.
It certainly was. And Jose is not a happy man. Now look at the way that Delph, I love this goal. Delph wins the ball, energetic, lays it out, follows it up, carries on with his run, and somehow back heels it between his legs. You can't really see it.
I'm not sure about how intentional that was myself.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt. He nearly actually, apart from a great save from Czech here, made it 2. And this is one of the most unsavoury moments of the game.
One of the worst tackles of the season.
Well
Not
picked
even a
up by
tackle,
the
is it? It's
officials.
just a
That is deliberately trying. That could finish his career.
Yeah.
And some bizarre reason, Mourinho came on to moan about it. Mourinho's still wondering, why me? Because you're a fool. Liverpool away at Manchester United, having only won once in the last 10 attempts at this ground. For once, a legitimate penalty involving Luis Suarez.
Yeah, quite remarkable.
Very calm under the circumstances. Bang! Stevie G puts them 1-0 up. And it was to get worse for Man United.
This is dubious as well, I think.
Oh, look at the replay, look. Bam, he shoulders him out of the way.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, shoulder to back.
Not that I'm, putting up for Man United.
No,
I'm not a
fair
huge
enough.
fan or anything.
I think you may have cause to moan about this one, although seeing Vidic getting his 4th red card against Liverpool is always something to laugh about.
Harsh. We'll see a bit more of that later, but it was harsh.
It was harsh, but there is a god of football, and he levelled the ledger. But it wasn't to be for them. Beautifully controlled there from Suarez. I mean, he timed his run perfectly, although another one of those disturbing goal celebrations that you enjoy so much, Alex. Well, a bit of a change both at the top and the bottom, although not in the exact placings. Chelsea still at the top, 4 points clear from Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, all winning. But don't forget, these are the games they have in hand over other teams. And these are in purple because someone nicked our black pen. Tottenham losing, still stuck in that place there. Everton, with a couple of games in hand, will be looking for 5th, and maybe still harbouring ambitions to go further up. Southampton winners as well, so we slide our way down, compressing here at the bottom. Fulham and Cardiff both winning, Sunderland getting a draw, and Sunderland, though, having 3 games in hand. But you've got to win them. Talking of managers being sent off, Jose Mourinho, this referee picked on me. He said, really? You wandered onto the field of play defending one of your players who frankly should be suspended for the rest of the season.
The Telegraph looks at the big match at Old Trafford, Gerrard's dream and Rooney's nightmare, and that pretty well sums it up, doesn't it?
Well, the Sun goes on the back there as well and said, one of my worst, he says. And I love the bit at the bottom, said, Moyes can't explain loss. He can never explain why they lose. It's always, we were the best team. But I'll tell you why. Because in your language you can understand. Moisey, your team is shite. There you
Well,
are.
I'll
That was
tell you
German.
one fan who was particularly distressed at that result was Sir Alex Ferguson. And it's a
Yeah.
little known fact, he did actually go onto the pitch after the game and he addressed the crowd. This is what he said.
Not just the directors, not just the medical staff, the coaching staff, the players, the supporters, but the whole world can see Moyes is destroying this club. Totally. Totally. The club's in jeopardy. The club's behind me, the players are behind me. Our job now is to get rid of David Moyes.
I'll tell you what, Fergie's not a man you want to upset.
Now the pressure is rising even more on David Moyes, isn't it?
Fantastic.
And speaking of people you don't want to upset, Tim Sherwood, I always thought of him as quite a mild-mannered sort of guy, but we see this photo here. I don't think you want to make him angry.
No, he does look a little bit Hannibal Lecter-ish.
You might not like him when he's angry.
Oh, dearie me.
We saw that photo in the newspaper of Gerrard getting intimate with the camera.
Yeah, give
He
it a
wasn't the
little-
only one this weekend. Thierry Henry, playing for the Red Bulls against the Colorado Rapids, scored a goal. Not a bad goal. But then this happened. He went over and started playing cameraman, Miles.
There, get your hand off my equipment. I wonder what he'd say if the cameraman came on and started playing with the ball.
Quite a friendly little tete-a-tete though, but you couldn't say that about Andreas Beck playing for Hoffenheim against Mainz in the Bundesliga. We see the camera angle here, comes tumbling over, and if we look at it again, oh dear.
Oh dear, no, that's not very nice.
No, let's have another look, shall we? This never gets boring. And in fact, and we'll just have one more look, Miles.
One more. Uno mas.
Because it never gets boring.
No, it never gets boring.
The cameraman was knocked out, or I think semi-conscious as he was taken away. So, yes, not too good to be too close to the pitch there. And funnily enough, they say Germans have no sense of humour. The Bundesliga has just released a video of people just getting hit in the head with footballs. It's actually quite funny.
Where's one with the referee, though? I want to see a ref getting hit. Goalies and other linesmen, but the
Indeed.
ref.
And we will be seeing more of these head whacks from the Bundesliga in later episodes.
And talking of people who've obviously been hit far too many times in the head by a ball,
Well, joining us now is the president of FIFA, Mr. Sepp Blatter. Sepp, thank you very much for coming on the show. But where are you and what are you doing?
Lovely to talk to you again, Alex. I'm glad you asked. I have some very exciting news. We here at FIFA would like to announce that we have awarded the 2034 World Cup to Atlantis.
But Sepp, surely you can't play football on the ocean floor.
Alex, as far back as 1870, Jules Verne noted there were 20,000 leagues under the sea. That is more than there is on land. It is about time we played a World Cup under the sea. We welcome those with gills to the FIFA family.
What about the fans and players? Won't they drown?
Alex, we have already thought of that. The stadiums we will use in Qatar 2022 will be fully enclosed and airtight. We will lift them with the helicopters, drop them to Atlantis, and fans can access them by a giant water slide. And we will, of course, provide rings for safety. Not the rings for the piles, but the ones you put on the arms.
Aren't you concerned about dangers to the stadia from Wales, for example?
Don't be ridiculous, Alex. Wales have not qualified for a World Cup since 1958. And with Ryan Giggs retired, there is no chance in the future. Although there is a minor danger if a ball smacks the stadium roof, it could crack. Therefore, FIFA have decided to ban any England players from taking penalties.
What about accommodation? Where are these thousands of fans going to sleep?
For an intelligent man, Alex, you ask some stupid Dummkopf questions. Where does anyone sleep? In a bed. And the seabed is the biggest in the world. It is enough space in that bed for every fan to sleep there.
Finally, Sepp, are there any other benefits to playing a World Cup in Atlantis?
It actually is a very good question, Alex. And the one thing that the FIFA Executive Committee decided to get rid of a blight on the game, if we are in Atlantis with all the water, for once there will be a legitimate reason for the players to keep on diving.
Sepp Blatter, as always, it has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us on Premier League Backpass.
My pleasure, mein Freund Alex. And talking of friends, there are a few from East London who are here. We are going out for dinner now. There is the Craze, Marlene Harewood, and of course, the big fat man himself, Clam Allardyce. Auf Wiedersehen.
So, a World Cup under the sea, Miles. I wonder,
Wow.
I wonder what kind of team would dominate that tournament.
I think Jacques Cousteau would be a selector. Let's find out.
Football's fished 11 miles. And we'll start off with the captain, who is the Dutchman Ruud Mullet.
Yes, well, that certainly is as rude a mullet as I've ever seen. Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Cesc Fabregas actually plays for Barcelona, arch rivals of Real Madrid.
And talking of eels, Eel Hadji Diouf. And they get better.
Salmon Kalou used to play for Chelsea, not anymore.
Oh, come on, Clint Deepsea. Now we're really stretching it.
They're still coming, folks. Whale Clichy, yes, former Arsenal.
Pike Ji-sung. With a bit of bite in the midfield.
My personal favourite, Victor Anchovy.
Dirk Trout. I like that one actually. I think that's the most legitimate one so
And
far.
who could forget Diego Maradona,
How on earth do you get a fish out of that?
aka the Hand of Cod.
Oh my God.
And the manager,
Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Or we could have had Paul Scholes, aka the Orange Ruffy.
you may have noticed, Miles, there was no goalkeepers in that selection.
Yeah, why was that?
Because they don't like being anywhere near a net.
And it goes on. Well, if you want to angle for some prizes, you can't do better than swag.
Last week, we showed you part of a club's badge and you had to tell us who the club was. We thought this was Wimbledon because of the tennis net. In fact, it was Everton.
Aha, trap for the younger player. This one could well have been Nottingham Forest. There's the River Trent and a tree, but no, it was Southampton Football Club.
I thought this was Chelsea because of the preponderance of blue and white, but in fact it was Stoke City, the Potters.
One of the oldest clubs around. Oh, could have been Mariah Canary, but it was not. It's a throstle on a hawthorn bush, West Bromwich Albion.
Pepe Reina's beach ball. Obviously Liverpool, I thought. No.
But the cock on top of it means it's Tottenham.
And lastly,
A wagon wheel, which had to be, of course, Arsenal. And who was the lucky winner, Alex?
lots of correct entries because it was pretty easy. The winner was David Samuels. Well done, David. You get the last of the Phoenix Bump. The bag is empty. No more Phoenix Bump, unfortunately. But that's no reason to be sad, is it?
No reason to be sad at all. In fact, many reasons to be happy. UnionJacks.co.nz, UnionJacks.co.nz, down there in Link Drive, Wairau, all the best food that you miss from the UK. And they have given us, each week we're going to be giving away a hamper on swag. You've got HB sauce, you've got pickled onions, you've got pork scratchings. Where's that walnut whip gone? My whip's been walnutted.
Hartley jelly, whatever that is.
Walnut whip. You can tell a lot about a girl the way she eats a walnut whip. You all know that. So for all, and they've got alcohol there as well, but we're not allowed to give it away. But we'll work on that. UnionJacks.co.nz. From next week, these hampers will be going out, worth a fortune and weighing a ton.
And this is what you have to do this week to win one of them. The easiest competition yet. It's not much harder than writing your name. So, we want to know Newcastle versus Hull very recently, and we want to know what happened next. What happened next? It couldn't be easier. Entries, Miles.
To swag@plbackpass.com. That is swag@plbackpass.com.
And the entries close at midnight on Monday, March the 24th.
O terror de todas nós, namoradas, esposas, mães, o fato é que
What on
até a mais
earth is that?
velha
Are those
das cuecas
dodgy grundies that he's got?
This is in fact an ad for Lupo underwear, Miles. The theme being that women get sick of men having favourite pairs of underwear.
Fair enough.
Which they won't throw away. And if we see it here, they finally end up in a mass underwear burning. And the final advertiser is Neymar
Ah, Neymar.
from Barcelona in Brazil. And he got in a bit of trouble last year for a similar ad, same company, because he was happy to dance and parade for women who asked to see him in the underwear.
That's fair enough, isn't
as
it?
we see here, and the second pair of women come up and he's jigging around. But then a large and possibly gay man comes up and asks to see him, and he sneaks out the back.
I tell you what, if geese are that size, might cause a bit of damage. So fair enough, Neymar.
He did offend the Brazilian gay community with that one. And we spoke last week or a couple of weeks ago about Chelsea getting Simpsonized.
Exactly, and apparently Barcelona have been Simpsonized. And if you can guess who they are, you're a better man than I am.
We can see Neymar, Messi, Xavi and Iniesta. Apparently nobody at Barcelona owns a razor. And Iniesta actually looks like he's got a case of jaundice, which is quite hard to do when you're a Simpsons character, Miles.
Well, they're all jaundiced, aren't they?
Thomas Rositzky, we've seen him earlier today scoring
Magnificent
a
goal.
snorter. So we can see he knows how to score spectacular goals, but he also knows how to draw, Miles.
Not so spectacularly, perhaps, but we'll leave that up to you. Have a little look at this with his teammates.
See if you can pick them out.
I reckon that looks like Giroud there on the back at the right, but who's that one with the big bulgy eyes down the front?
Mesut Ozil, I'm not sure if he'd be happy with that depiction, and it's Per Mertesacker, the giant. And remember the incident with Theo Walcott and the Spurs fans?
Yes, when they won 2-0 and
Indeed.
they threw coins at him.
Well, this is the Thomas Rositzky interpretation of that incident.
What was Rositzky doing standing behind the crowd?
You see,
Throwing coins at his
amongst
teammates.
the Spurs fans, no
Exactly.
less. Karabanspor. No,
Oh,
I think I've got that
something
wrong. Karabukspor.
That sounds about right.
Yes, they play in the Turkish league. A new form of free kick.
You love these free kicks. What on earth are they doing?
The daisy chain
daisy
technique, and it seems kind of pointless because the defender or the attackers can just wander in and out at ease. It seems more disadvantage to be holding your fellow defender's hand to me, but let's see if it actually worked.
Ooh, not really. They were a bit lucky there, weren't they? Maybe they just gained a bit of comfort from each other's grasp.
I'm not sure if we'll be seeing that one again. And finally, we mentioned earlier, the Germans have a reputation for not having the sense of humour, but if we look at Bayern Munich's training session, that wag, Thomas Muller, in the golf cart, hilarious times.
Oh, I tell you, I can just imagine the groundsman enjoying every little turn and twist.
Ends up in the goal, stopping the ball perhaps, and never a dull moment at Bayern.
Don't let Sam Allardyce see that or else he'll use it.
We may see Thomas Muller in his golf buggy in the Champions League. I'm not sure if it'll be allowed. But another coming attraction is this week's games. Huge games either end of the table, Miles. Chelsea at home to Arsenal, first versus third. 4 points separate them. But Arsenal have a game in hand, and Chelsea will just be hoping they can keep players and managers within the confines of the pitch.
It'd be interesting to see actually how they bounce back from that and whether Mourinho's got his megaphone. Arsenal ecstatic obviously with their win over Tottenham in the North London derby, but they're going to have to pick up their act if they're going to get a result at Stamford Bridge.
Perhaps last chance. Chelsea home conversion rate, 33 goals, 209 chances.
That's a good conversion rate. Chelsea Fortress, 9 goals only conceded at home this season.
Yeah. And Arsene Wenger has earned over £60 million since Arsenal last won a trophy. So losing can be quite lucrative, Miles.
Yes, as Sam Allardyce has found out, 13th highest paid manager in the world. As Sunderland take on Norwich City. Norwich at the end of a bit of a pounding from Southampton, although 2 late goals brought them within a whisker of getting a draw, which might give them a bit of hope.
And Sunderland, speaking of draws, bore draw here. Barini hit the bar, and then this is against Crystal Palace, of course, and then had another chance to get a goal, but whipped it over the top. Shocking. They're 4 points below Norwich as well, but 3 games in hand.
Those games in hand could make the difference. Norwich's average home score, though, is 1.08 to 1. They're almost unbeatable at home.
1.5 points on average at home. Dirty Sunderland have picked up 6 red cards this campaign, 4 away from home. We may see some more.
And did you know that Norfolk's population is lower now than it was in the 1300s? I think that's due to the bubonic plague, the Black Death, and the smell of the sugar beet.
Everton versus Swansea. Much to play for there, Miles?
I wouldn't have thought so for Everton, but a lot for Swansea. Man City, Fulham as well, though. Fulham's last chance maybe to stay up.
Both teams have to win. West Ham, Man United.
Yes, and if Big Sam loses that against that ramshackle mob, he'll get the sack.
Well, 2 absolutely crucial games at either end of the table, Miles.
Very much so. I wouldn't like to pick either one of those. It'd be pretty tough. I'll tell you one thing, though, Alex. You've worked so hard this week. I wanted to make a funny old game, something to cheer you up. 2 things very dear to your heart. One of them being Hawkeye.
What a waste of money.
Exactly. Well, here you are. You think there's a goal scored there. That was disallowed, rightfully so, for offside, but had the ball already crossed the line from Heitinger. Look at that. It looks like a goal to me.
Near enough. I'd give it.
Looks like a goal to me, but you go to Hawkeye. Oh, is it over or not? And I've got to say, how wide is that line?
I still say it's a total waste of money.
I would have
give
given
the goal, near
Give the
enough.
goal. Well, and also know you hate flag abuse.
Absolutely.
You detest it.
I'm
This
setting up a charity.
is criminal abuse of a flag. Archie Thompson for Melbourne victory against Perth.
We start with a rather bizarre match, Miles. Genoa at home to Juventus. And Osvaldo, who you remember played the first half of the season for Southampton. Lovely little dinked goal here, but it's chalked off.
I'd say it's rather rum.
Cannoned off Llorente. He was, in fact, offside. Never mind, though, because not long after, a carbon copy, Pogba puts him through. Another dinked little shot, 1-0. Except it's not.
I cannot believe it. Mind you, couldn't happen to a nicer chap.
Chalked off for offside, even though he wasn't actually offside. Hard luck, Mr. Osvaldo. Bertolacci had a chance for Genoa. Second half, obviously. Blast it straight at Buffon. Motta. Past the post. Oh dear. Down at the other end. Antonelli gets the ball onto his arm. No penalty given. And I think this is fair enough, Miles.
Yeah, I think so. The ball was blasted at his hand.
Vidal at the other end, however, not so fortunate. That is a penalty.
Exactly. The ball was bouncing. It wasn't blasted at him, and he sticks his hand
More
out.
time to see it. Calao, though, another weak effort. Buffon saves. 89th minute. Andrea Pirlo, he doesn't miss.
That's a lovely free kick from
Fantastic
the old
strike.
geezer.
1-0 Juventus.
Oh, the old geezer playing for the old lady.
Indeed.
There you are.
This is a crucial match, Miles. Livorno at home to Bologna. 2 of the cellar dwellers, along with Sassuolo. There's Balladini.
Balderini.
Emigara down the right. Benassi inside the post. 1-0 Livorno. This is in the second half. 55th minute. No, 46th minute. Oh,
He came a bit of a cropper.
so excited he falls over. But is still smiling. And he's
Simulation, even when they're not playing.
smiling even more as Benassi takes it down the right, and thanks to some poor defending, Paulinho ends up with it. 2-0. Is it all over? Well, it is almost all over, but in the 87th minute, Bologna are awarded a penalty. Who steps up? Lazarus Christodolopoulos. Can he bring them back from the dead?
Oh, Lazarus Christopoulos. If it had been Lazarus, he could have done.
Sassuolo,
Yay!
home to Catania. 30 minutes in, Bergesio, 1-0 up for the visitors. However, cometh the hour, cometh Floro Flores. What a beautiful touch, and then lays it back to Zaza. This is the 55th minute. It is 1-1.
That was a lovely touch there. Almost Luis Suarez-like.
Yes, and then a shimmy of the hips and a beautiful chip in from Floro Flores to Messeroli. They are leading 2-1.
Lovely little chip and not a bad header, actually.
Yeah, very nice. And then a couple of minutes from time, Sansone puts the issue beyond doubt, as they say.
Icing on the crema on the caca. I don't know what cake is in Italian.
The top 5 teams, Miles, all won, so no change at the top. But down at the bottom,
There's a massive change. Sassuolo have levitated above the bottom. Catania down there now. Livorno obviously having that win, but Chievo lost.
it's all to play for. And that is that, Miles. What an action-packed show it has been.
It certainly has. And thanks to Union Jacks for coming on board. unionjacks.co.nz for all your English beer, cider, all those horrible things that you can't get in New Zealand, but
the
love
money
to
you
get
give
from
us.
And the money that you give us. Thank you very much, Union Jacks. Get those unionjacks.co.nz, and courtesy of them, le meilleur. Au revoir.
The foot of Joe Hart, does he make any contact with Boyd? No.
Well, he has given a yellow card to Joe Hart. He's out of winning. The Pinners.
sure it's your hand up on the last three.